Hi, everyone. It's another interesting episode with us on TWI. Today, we're going to be discussing a very important investment instrument known as commercial papers. Commercial papers. Have you heard the popular saying or cliche that the rich keep getting richer whilst the poor keep getting poorer? That is not just a myth, it is a reality. And our subject matter today helps you to understand why the rich keep getting richer. The rich keep getting richer because they have certain amounts of knowledge that most other common people do not have. So what are commercial papers? Commercial papers are short-term debt instruments issued by corporations, issued by banks, issued by big companies in order to raise money for short-term obligations or expenses. For instance, a company could have a need to have more working capital, and then they go to the capital market and they issue commercial papers. All right, so this is an instrument that helps them to raise large sums of money to meet their obligations, but it is a short-term instrument. Now, commercial papers are advantageous for companies and corporations because, unlike shares, it does not dilute their ownership structure. People who subscribe to commercial papers don't own any equities in those companies that they buy their commercial papers. So, like last year, MTN issued commercial papers to the tune of certain amount of billions of naira. It was oversubscribed according to the reports that they gave. MTN did not have to dilute their ownership. All the people that bought those commercial papers simply latched onto an opportunity to make good returns on investment. Without MTN diluting their ownership, MTN was able to raise money for working capital. And then those subscribers to the offer also made good amounts of money. All right, so that's what commercial papers are about. Commercial papers are unsecured. They are not as secured as your equities and all of that, but they have some measure of security because they are regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission, and they are traded or they are transacted on in the FMDQ segment of the Nigerian capital market. All right, so commercial papers offer the value of good returns on investment for those who subscribe. Now, commercial papers belong to everyone. All right, it's on face value, it looks like it's for the big boys, the big players, the multi-millionaires, the billionaires. Because for you to invest in commercial papers, you need large sums of money, up to the millions of naira. You need to have millions of naira to be able to do commercial papers. But that does not mean that retail investors, smaller investors, cannot take part in deals with commercial papers. Yes, whilst the big people, the big players, play in the primary market with their big sums of money as far as commercial papers are concerned, retail investors can play in the secondary market in the matter of commercial papers. All you need to do as a retail investor to invest in commercial papers or to be a part of any commercial paper offering is have a stock brokerage account. And then when you know any company is issuing commercial papers, you contact your stockbroker and tell your stockbroker that you want to buy commercial papers. The commercial paper, your stockbroker will be able to link you up with multilateral investors or large-scale investors who are also selling to retail investors in the secondary market, or individuals who bought large sums of it and are willing to also sell in the secondary market. So that way you can also play in the issuances of commercial papers as long as the tenure of the commercial papers is still on. Commercial papers have a maturity typically of 360 days and below. They usually don't last more than 1 year. That's why we call them short-term instruments, okay? They usually don't last for more than 1 year. So I've mentioned that companies, corporations, banks, big organizations issue commercial papers in order to meet short-term obligations. I believe that's very clear. So there are certain things you also need to know about commercial papers. Commercial papers can be issued in series. So for instance, when MTN issued their own commercial papers, it was done in different series, right? You can have series 5, series 10, series 15, depending on the different things that they need money for, all right? So a company can be raising, for instance, 10 billion because they need 2 billion for working capital, they need 2 billion for inventory, they need 5 billion for system or technology upgrade, infrastructure upgrade, things like that. So these are different series within the commercial paper issuance. Now, it is important to note that each series of a commercial paper has unique characteristics, all right? They have characteristics around their maturity date. They have characteristics around the interest rate. And finally, they have characteristics around the issue amount. Okay, so one series can be issued at, say, 50 naira or 100 naira. Another series can be issued at, say, 80 naira. Another series can be issued at, say, 500 naira, 1,000 naira. All right. So no two series have the same characteristics. I hope I've been able to communicate that to you clearly. Now, the other thing to note about commercial papers is that they are discounted instruments. Okay, so when the commercial paper is issued or is being issued, there's what is called the face value of the commercial paper. The face value can be maybe 1,000 naira, all right, and then it is now being purchased at a value of 950. So the face value is 1,000, for instance. The discount rate is 950. When you are buying the commercial paper, you don't buy it at the face value. You buy it at the discounted price of 950. But at the maturity of the commercial paper, the company pays you at face value in addition to the interest that they're supposed to pay you. So that is what determines your yield. These are the figures that are put together to determine the yield of the commercial paper. So I'm coming back to MTN Nigeria once again. So when MTN Nigeria issued commercial papers in 2024, some of the series had a yield of 27%. Some others had yield of 29%, right? So if the way you determine the yield is to there's a little mathematical calculation, which I'll try to just explain in a few seconds or in a few minutes. So the face value, the discount price, you subtract the discount price from the face value, because usually the face value will be higher than the discounted price. Using the example I gave of 1,000 to 950, you subtract 1,000, you do 1,000 minus 950, that gives you 50 naira. So you now take that difference, that's the 50 naira, and divide it by the face value, okay? And then you multiply that fraction by the maturity date of the commercial paper. So let's say the maturity date is 180 days, but the maturity date is 360 days. So you multiply the fraction of the difference over face value times the maturity date, okay? Having done that, whatever you get, you now convert it to a percentage. So you multiply by 100%, and then it gives you your yield. I believe that makes sense. I'll just recap it again. I told you that face value is the amount that the company is going to pay you at the maturity of the commercial paper. Let's say the face value of the commercial paper, particular series of the commercial paper, is 1,000 naira. The discounted rate, I told you that commercial papers are usually discounted, okay? That's what makes it attractive for the investor. So the face value is 1,000 naira. The discounted rate is 950. So to determine your yield, if you want to know if it's really worth your value as an investor, you subtract your discounted rate price from the face value price. And then that difference of face value minus discount price, you divide it by face value, and then you multiply it by the maturity day, the number of days that it will take for the commercial paper to mature. Then whatever value you get from that calculation you had done, you multiply by 100% to get the yield on that commercial paper. I believe that makes a lot of sense. So for those of you that have money stashed in your bank account and you're wondering, maybe you have some millions kept somewhere in one bank account, and you're wondering what value can I add to that money? How can I make that money to appreciate in value rather than just sit in the bank account? This is one veritable way to go. And then peradventure you don't have millions in your bank account, but you have some money and you're thinking of expanding your investment portfolio. Commercial papers are a good way to go. All you need to do is have a stock brokerage account. So talk to your stockbroker and tell him you want to invest in commercial papers. There are quite a number of commercial papers that are listed now. The Lagos Free Trade Zone is currently issuing commercial papers. One other thing I would like to mention is when you are going to a commercial paper, you need to check the credit rating of the company you're buying their commercial papers. It's a way of mitigating your risk, because at the maturity date of the commercial paper, the company should be able to pay you the principal and the promised interest. Okay, so you need to be sure that the company has the capacity to pay. All right, MTN Nigeria did their commercial paper, it was fully subscribed. In fact, it was oversubscribed. Dangote Sugar did commercial paper, I think it was oversubscribed as well. I'm not quite sure about that right now. So you need to be sure of the ability of the company to pay. So check the credit rating, and that's why it's good to talk to a stockbroker, or you could also ask us. We're there to guide you. Commercial paper. So if you have found out about any commercial paper you would like to invest in, you can drop your questions in the comment section of this video. We'll be glad to guide you. If you need further guidance, we'll be able to exchange contact details so we can give you further instructions on how to go around getting your commercial papers. This is a new year. You need to start getting money to work for you, and commercial papers offer a very, very high yield, I told you about MTN, 27% to 29%. These are very high yield investment instruments. And that's why we had to do this video to inform you about the opportunities that are available to you with that investment instrument. They are short term. In case you don't want to do the investment for the long haul, commercial papers are short term. They don't last more than 1 year. All right. So get to work immediately and ask your stockbroker or ask us. We're there to guide you, and we can't wait to receive your queries or inquiries regarding commercial papers. And we know that you're going to be happy investing in those instruments. So thank you very much for making out time to see this video. In case you are yet to subscribe to our channel, please do the needful, subscribe to the channel, watch this video, share it with your friends, family, loved ones, share it with people you know it will be beneficial to. And if you have any questions, peradventure you're not very clear about what I said in certain aspects, please drop the questions in the comment section. We'll be glad to answer your questions. So until I see you next time, thank you, and continue investing, continue making money.